A state of controversy in Virginia as the three top Democratic officials all face scandals. The lieutenant governor now facing 2 accusations of sexual assault, and the attorney general admitted to wearing blackface in college. But it all started at the top when Governor Northam's racist yearbook photo came to light. So we sent our next guest to the state to see what people think of the governor's blackface scandal.
Do you think that a governor should be held accountable for something he did back in college?
That's quite unfair.
I realize this hate it. I realize this is something that was also done as a young person.
Everybody makes mistakes.
They have to hold him as accountable as they would hold anyone on the right.
Founder of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, joins us now with more. Charlie, welcome. Now, it's important to note that we sent you yesterday before the second accusation came out against Fairfax. What did you find when you spoke to these people on the street?
Well, look, a lot of the voters of Virginia are still in kind of a state of shell shock. They're stunned with all of these accusations that have been lining up one after the other. And there was one common theme, though. There were many of the voters were agreeing that we should not have a rush to judgment for something that happened 30 years ago. And I actually agree with that. During the Kavanaugh hearings, you know, I was one of the louder voices that was trying to calm down the mob that was trying to go after then Judge Kavanaugh, now Justice Kavanaugh. But there is definitely a consensus that each one of these office holders have done something wrong, something I agree with, but they have differences of whether they should resign or not and which ones should resign. Definitely a big political controversy right now.
Okay, we actually have some sound from that on whether they should resign. Let's take a listen.
That the governor should resign.
Yes. I guess, yeah. A lot of people have been fired for less.
I understand the call for the resignation of the governor. I don't think he should resign yet.
So he should not resign?
No, I don't think so. Neither one of them.
The lieutenant governor's under accusations, too.
Yeah, the accusations against him are true, then he should resign as well.
Yeah, I feel like he should resign. Same with Justin Fairfax. There should be a zero-tolerance policy, like in Virginia, honestly.
From what I'm seeing, most people there are saying that they should, in fact, resign. Was that surprising to you at all to hear that?
Yeah, it took me back. And when I actually walked through with some of them, that would mean that the Republican Speaker of the House would become governor if all 3 ended up resigning. That also really surprised them. But look, with Lieutenant Governor Fairfax in particular, you know, a lot of conservatives, including myself, were talking about the presumption of innocence during the Kavanaugh hearings, and there should be no difference even, you know, when a lieutenant governor, Democrat governor goes through this. I think we should stop being a country that rushes to judgment. We saw this in the last couple of weeks in many different media stories, but with the voters of Virginia, they almost have no direction to go. There's no real tangible way to move forward when your top 3 elected office holders are all under serious accusations like this. There's not a consensus of exactly how to proceed.
Charlie, just quickly, we had 2 very distinct issues here. We have accusations of sexual assault, accusations of rape, and then we also have the issue of blackface. Any big difference in terms of how people on the street responded separately to those 2 issues? More outraged by either? Any big difference you noted?
Oh, with the lieutenant governor, definitely more outrage behind what he is accused of doing. And those are crimes that could still be prosecuted, and there are now multiple accusations. I remember when I went out there, that was before the second accusation came forward. But this is a big political crisis, and it doesn't seem like there's a big path forward, an agreeable path forward of how to proceed.
We got to head out, but thank you so much for your input, Charlie.
Bowing to the every demand of the politically correct Puritans puts us on a dangerous path, slippery slope, whatever you want to call it. The concern is that without some safe space to make mistakes in the past, good people won't want to be involved in public life at all. Maybe it's time to reconsider the shifting standards of the PC Puritans. So last night I warned about how people in both parties, now and even corporations, are falling victim to the ever-shifting PC goalposts. Now, I worry that the real offenses, like the donning of blackface, discriminatory intent as adult, well, that's being casually lumped in with imagined offenses like the release of an all-white tennis shoe being labeled insensitive during Black History Month. And could the attention given to these flashpoints have irreversible effects on our society and then just end up driving us all further apart when we need to come together for some real solutions? Now, for some answers, we're joined by my friend of too many years to count, Donna Brazile, former chair of the Democratic National Committee and co-author of the book, For Colored Girls Who Considered Politics. Donna, first of all, it's great to have you in tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm with you during Black History Month, and you're wearing all black.
Yeah, and yesterday for the Green New Deal, I was wearing green, so I'm in complete thematic dress.
We love it, though.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, Donna, what do you make of all of this with you know, the problem in Virginia, but then we have the corporation saying white shoes are racist?
I remember a couple of years ago when we said selling white sheets during Black History Month was also racist. Look, this is not about symbolism only. This is the substance of the conversation that perhaps we need to have as Americans. It's been almost 400 years now since the first group of Africans arrived on the shores of Virginia. 400 years is a long time to have a conversation worthy of a great nation like ours. And I think we often put aside, you know, the moment and just deal with the controversy and say, why won't, this is a great moment for you and I to talk about race. Where are we in the 21st century? Can we at least agree on the language that we must use in order to address some of these big issues, whether it's white males appearing in blackface, which clearly is objectionable no matter the period, because we all know what it symbolizes, or, you know, talking about white tennis shoes during a time when, you know, it's time to celebrate Black History Month. What are we going to celebrate during the month that we look at senior citizens? Are we going to...
No gray sneakers allowed.
Well, hell, I better dye my hair now. Oh, my God.
But, you know, what, when you think about this, you got Ralph Northam, governor of Virginia, Democrat governor, who gets up there and he talks about this photo, doesn't really say he's in one of the pictures, but then it comes out the next day and says, I wasn't in either picture. He gets himself in trouble kind of two times. Once for the photo with the KKK guy, it's a Halloween, I guess, then saying it's neither person is myself. Then you move on to Justin Fairfax. We have more allegations about him today, which I'll get to. Then you get the next in line also said, well, I'm dressed up as a rapper.
Karen, and then we got the majority leader who's a Republican. See, it's not a partisan issue.
No, I don't think it is, actually. Some Republicans are trying to make it partisan. I actually think Democrats jump on Republicans of something they did 30 years ago, and now Republicans think, I'm going to get you back because you have a double standard. And my point is there, and you talked about this, is there any safe space where we can have this conversation? I know you as a person. You know me as a person. We've known each other for a long time. We don't agree on a lot of stuff, but you can have a reasonable conversation as adults. And I think the rest of the country watching this show, all over the place, they're saying, I get along with people. Like, what is this that's happening? So where do we go from here for that amnesty or that safe space?
Well, I love to use the word amnesty because I do believe there's a path to redemption. I'll give you a good example. Back in the 1990s, I was a congressional staffer. Robert Byrd, the former leader in the United States Senate, and a former Klansman.
Wasn't he a Grand Wizard? Wasn't he in the Klan?
And a recruiter. He was all of the above. Robert Byrd went to the floor of the United States Senate and denounced his engagement with the Klan, his involvement with the Klan. I thought that was a moment that we should have this conversation. And yet John Lewis and many others went and say, thank you. Thank you for not only denouncing that racist
But that wouldn't be good enough today, Donna. That would not be good enough today.
Well, that's a start. That's a start. Acknowledge the past. We cannot...
But he was actually an acting member of the KKK, and you still got the Robert Byrd rest stops, the Robert Byrd Library, the Robert Byrd everything in West Virginia. And so today, given the new standard, people got to resign immediately. They got to get out of public life. You'd have to rip down all those Robert Byrd things, whether he apologized or not. He had Ralph Northam apologize.
But not only did he apologize, but he went on to not only spearhead legislation like the renewal of the Voting Rights Act, he endorsed Barack Obama in 2008.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Today, none of that matters because there is no redemption for anybody today.
That's it. What I'm saying is that there's a path forward.
So if you're only a liberal, you can get redeemed?
No, I'm not saying a liberal. I mean, if Robert Byrd was a Republican, if Robert Byrd was a whatever, independent. The point is that we should have an individual path. Look, there are many times in my life, look at this. I got a good rocking chair.
Tippy, tippy.
Look, there are many, no, this is too early for me. There are many times.
It's late.
Look, there were several moments in my life when I've had to say, you know what, I was wrong. and I've apologized for it. And you know what? It made me a better human being because I had to humble myself and ask for an
I do that every day, Donna.
I do it too.
All right, there's a lot of concern, though, with the Democratic Party right now in Virginia. I'm a Virginia resident, love this, went to University of Virginia. But the problem is it's not just moving left, it's moving more towards socialism. And in this piece titled from the National Journal, Democrats are boosting Trump's re-election prospects. One liberal Democratic strategist was alarmed by the rising tide of socialism. Within the Democrat Party, it said this: we're on an out-of-control roller coaster going 100 miles an hour, and we have no functioning brake. No one's leading, and the void could not be more clear. So do you share that concern?
We have raised the profile of one dynamic young woman just elected to Congress who I do believe is a mover and a shaker.
AOC.
AOC. And what I like about her is that people are talking about these issues now. We're talking about Green Deal. We're talking about raising the wage. We're talking about issues that Democrats have been talking about for years.
Right,
but all of a sudden,
the Democrats are signing on to something that's not even a prescription. It's just this resolution that would eliminate cars, eliminate planes, and give people jobs who are unwilling or unable to work. Unwilling to work would also get a minimum standard of living. Is that the Democrat Party today?
No, because we have several proposals. I told someone the other day we have like 6 different proposals on how to strengthen our health care system.
Yeah, and Pelosi doesn't like this.
My mother said it best when we were growing up. She said, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. I think most Democrats would answer to who are you?
Yeah,
we are Americans who believe in, giving each and every American a healthy start and a head start in life. I mean, that's
But that's
socialism.
not what all I'm saying. I don't want to it's all about AOC, but there is genuine concern within the Democrat Party that you think you have Trump on the ropes, but then all of a sudden, whoa, it's whiplash to the left, and the country said, wait a second.
Lord,
well, I got to ask you about Northam. Do you think Northam should go?
He's not going.
He said he wasn't going to go today, but do you think he should?
The Democratic Party of Virginia has said we're going to spend this weekend talking to our officials and figure out a path forward.
So you don't have a feeling on whether he should go or not?
I don't believe we know the answer because, as you know, on Friday night he said one thing, and then on Saturday night we may have to wait till tomorrow afternoon.
I had someone on my show on Friday.
You need a show on Saturday.
I had someone on Friday. Joe DeGeneres said he's a racist, and I love Joe, and I said, I don't think he's a racist.
No, he's not.
I'm getting heat. I'm getting heat as a Republican for standing up for Democrats. It would be nice if the favor were returned when conservatives are unfairly attacked. But there's like 3 people I can count them on one hand to defend me.
Ronald Reagan launched his campaign in Neshoba County, Mississippi.
Right? You
and
bet.
a few years after his election, he signed the bill that made Martin Luther King a national holiday. We need a path to redemption. Every American, regardless of color.
What about this Fairfax, these allegations against him,
I am
Lieutenant Governor?
deeply alarmed at these allegations.
A second woman came forward
today. I am deeply alarmed. I have talked to Justin. Justin is someone I know very well.
He denies it. He's denying this. He said it didn't happen, and she said she has told people contemporaneously, but we don't know much more.
Before, but you know what? We need to have an opportunity to hear more, to have the due process, an investigation, but I support these women coming forward.
All right, Donna Brazile. It's so much fun. I haven't talked to you.
During Women's History Month now, and then the agent so I can dye my hair.
Only month. I can only invite Donna during actual thematic months.
Senior citizens.
Oh, come on.
There must be a hot chick diva month, and I want to also come.
All right, Raymond said that Donna is the only person who doesn't age over like 2 decades, has no age. Thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Go Saints.
All right. Oh, God, they're still talking about the Saints, these people.